What is up, you remarkable people? How are you doing today? It's a beautiful Friday. It's been a great day. Lots of getting hands dirty in the soil with some planting. Knock that out. Knock that one out. Perfect. Look at that. Look at that. Come on now. That's the shine of work. It's the shine of labor. We are in the final stages. That feels good. Of breaking the death habit. My name is Spencer. If you don't already know, I don't know why you're watching this, but I'm glad you're watching it because it makes no sense why you would be watching this unless you knew there was a better way to live life, unless you knew that there was a reason we live on this planet, unless you knew there was more to life than to die at around 70 to 90, 70 to 100 years old. Unless you knew that our reality was controlled by our mind, not our physical mind. Unless you knew our physical reality is controlled by our mind. And this is what this book is getting into, and it's getting juicy. I gotta say, it's a lot of practical information coming up right now that you can start doing today to start living and feeling better, start living a better life. Of course, it doesn't cover all the aspects of all the trauma of how to let go of all these traumas, but it gives a great detail of their perception of the best way to overcome that trauma, and that's through breath work, water work. I guess breath work inside water, ice or hot water, fasting diet, and cleansing the emotional body and clearing out past traumas through birth and infancy trauma. Everyone has trauma, no matter who you are. Everyone has birth trauma. Everyone has infancy trauma. Trauma is essentially going through a event that was painful that you did not know how to resolve at the time. And what you're doing is going back to that moment within your mind and resolving that time. A little more detail. That was sugar-coated. Yes, I know. Sugar's not great for you. So we're going to get into this. I have no clue where my phone is. It's the good and bad thing. Huh. I have a backup. It's on 9%. I might have to go find my phone. Hold that thought, because that thought is holding my reality together. I'll be right back. Got him. All right, 20 minutes on the clock. It's already pretty late. I'm not staying on track this time. This imaginary time. But we'll get there. We'll swing back into it. And I believe we stopped at fasting and diet. So let's jump in. Fasting and diet. To be immortal, bring it a little bit closer to hear my sultry voice. To be immortal, you have to give up your fear of hunger. You do this by giving up food until you have certain knowledge you can live without it. Don't try it all at once. Do it only one day at a time. The yoga of austerinistis must be you know what it is. I don't know words. I'm looking them up to learn them, as you should. Of course, if you're not watching live, you can always skip ahead if you're feeling lucky. I say that because often when I skip ahead, I ended up, like the internet has to catch up, or it's just like not doesn't like skips way too far ahead, and I end up having to go back. Have you ever had that? Have you ever had that happen? Happens more with Netflix, but
austerity.
Austerity. I need to look up a word for a word I'm looking up. What's happening here? Sternness or severity of manner or attitude. Austerity. Austeris. He is noted for his austerity and his austericism.
Austerity.
The yoga of austeritas must be combined with the
austerity.
The yoga of austeritas must be combined with the yoga of pleasure and comfort. The goal of fasting is not hunger or loss of weight. The purpose is to permit the blood to do its job of cleaning the body. Fasting removes emotional as well as physical pollution. It connects body to spirit and induces and includes the body in the conscious life of the spirit. Everyone I have ever known who ate every other day or less was healthier, stronger, and more intelligent and loving than people who eat every day. Try it for 1 week and see how you feel. Be a scientist. Your body is the ultimate laboratory. Sometimes fasting or abstaining is indicated in order to know how polluted we have become. If simple fasting gets you in touch with order to know how polluted we have become. If simple fasting gets you in touch with enough hunger to make you realize how far away from the land and nature you are, then it has started your spiritual purification process. If fasting inspires you to plant your own garden, it has, then it should be obvious that missing a few meals has saved your life. Be forewarned. Fasting cures some people and makes other people sick. It is recommended that you master the connected breathing rhythm by having 10 to 20 rebirthing sessions, then maintain the rhythm for an hour per day for at least 30 days before you attempt extensive fasting. Nobody in this country does that. They just jump straight into fasting. I wonder why he's recommending this. He might say it in the next paragraph. Who knows? But, I highlight things to just take note and to revert back to them, so I'm not pondering or, trying to look up this information while I'm in the middle of reading. I can come back to it and look it up and examine just if that's actually healthy, or what other people who I respect follow the same protocol. Yeah, so that's if you're ever wondering why I'm marking pages, so I can look them up later. You should certainly try simple fast and diet suggestions before doing extensive fast. Fasting without breath mastery starts a purification process that can cause a person to relive childhood illnesses. Interesting. I'm trying to think if I've ever had, because I've done extensive fasting. I've done dry fasting. I've done extensive. I've done 3-day fasting. My friend here is doing a 1 week long water fast. So I haven't done that. Never had an interest to. Um, I think I don't know. I'm trying to like I don't. What I'm saying is I don't remember my dry fast, which was 4 days of dry fast. Um, 4 days, I believe it was 4 days. Dry fasting. There wasn't any illness that popped up. I'm trying to remember if I had any illness when I was younger. But I can do that later. Let's keep going. Fasting without breath mastery starts a purification process that can cause a person to relive childhood illnesses. This is why I say fasting cures some people and make others sick. As a general rule, if you are sick and start fasting, it will accelerate the healing process. If you are well and start fasting, it can purify old psychological illnesses. And although this process can bring on illness, continued fasting will return a greater state of personal health when the cleansing process is complete. However, sometimes continued fasting will bring on one illness after another out of the subconscious where they are stored until the mind is totally free of disease. If weakness or serious loss of weight occurs, the fast should be broken and resumed when you feel well again. When fasting, one aims not to produce misery, but to produce greater capacity for pleasure and mastery of the mind and body. That is a good thing to note because so many people are fasting for the wrong reasons and are fasting for weight loss, fasting for what's that? What's the not disease, but like ablemic, people who have a psychological need to stay thin. Like I hear him something outside. Florida song. If fasting makes you if fasting makes you mean and irritable, you should stop. The purpose of spiritual purification is truth, simplicity, and love. If fasting doesn't make you more sensitive and kind and loving, then you should back up and do more thinking and learn breath mastery. Thinking, breath mastery, and receiving loving messages, uh, affection, and friendships are the ultimate teaching techniques of spiritual purification. It's worth repeating that acts of spiritual purification should be taken in small doses. As soon as a spiritual purification exercise produces physical weakness, confusion, depression, anger, or other emotional turmoil, you should stop and resume your normal habits until you feel balanced and secure again. Although feeling normal, quotations, may be a state of extreme illness and pollution, it is okay to return to this state as long as it doesn't kill you or somebody else. The Bible says that Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights without food or water. All the immortals of the Bible, as well as those in the East, did the 40-day fast. If such a fast, and in all its prerequisites, were required for a PhD, medical, or ministerial degree, then the world would have to cope with a lot of lost balcony, baloney. Oh, then the world would have to cope with a lot less baloney. It is a tragedy that people can graduate from college without knowing that thought is creative, literally, without knowing that power of the human breath, and without learning practical things like massage and fasting. Doing making history, making the future, making things out of the pewter, making history, making the future, making things with my computer. Doing one major fast in a lifetime is not too much to ask to make people conscious of spirit, mind, and body. Fasting teaches us how to care for our bodies and what food is all about. Fasting should be taught in schools. Y'all seeing a pattern here? Oh no, seeing a pattern with my markings, seeing a pattern with uh, those who know. Limiting your diet to one food item or type of item is a fast. So they're counting like a banana diet, a fast. I know some people who did that. Fruit diet's a fast. Whoa. Wait, what you saying? You saying Jesus only ate fruit for 40 days? He didn't abstain from food and water? You're saying he only ate like bread for 40 days and 40 nights? Limiting your diet to one food item or type of item is a fast. I recommend that you do 1 to 3 day water fast once a month for 1 to 2 years before trying advanced 40-day fast. A 1 day per week liquid fast is plenty for the first year. Then you can expand your limits with your fasting experiments. Your physical body and common sense are best teachers. Never push yourself or your body. Your psychological organism must be gently and lovingly trained. As one's physical body becomes more filled with light, nutrition, and fasting becomes intuitive science. Fasting is an art that takes a lot of experience to master. Fasting brings up suppressed pain and emotions. A complete a completed healing cycle with fasting should be brief in the beginning. I've seen people get a taste of inner freedom and try to heal their whole life at once. It cannot be done. Slowness is holiness. However, weakness or pain come up. But whenever weakness or pain comes up, geez, whenever weakness or pain comes on, it is best to lie down and devote full attention to your breathing. Mastering food takes 10 to 20 years of practice. Trying to do it too rapidly can make you insane and very sick. It can bring it can bring to the surface so much pain that you might try to kill yourself to get rid of all of it. When you do it right, fasting is amazingly great. It opens up many new worlds of mind and body. Fasting cleans the blood, the cells, and memory. It can heal anything. It is great. It is a great adventure of the soul and can produce more physic, physic, physicalatic, it can produce more psychedelic effects than drugs. Fasting is more fulfilling. It says that TV. I don't know. Fasting is more fulfilling than TV. More interesting than working on your house. What is fasting is fun. He's into it, is what he's saying. Sleep is involuntary. Sleep is involuntary fasting for most people. It keeps us alive. Eating after sleep is called breakfast. Breaking our fast for the night. People who fast a lot sleep little. Wow. They generalize that food is extra work for the body. Food causes the body to take more rest to uh, recuperate from the burden of processing so much food. Immortal yogis go for years and even centuries without eating, but they took 50 to 100 years to master food. Wow, that means if you were to start mastering food the day you were born, you wouldn't master food until you're 50, at least. So if you're starting when you're 30, 80? But what's 80 when you're living to 300 years old, huh? Immortal yogis go for years, even centuries, without eating, but they took uh, 50 to 100 years to master food. If it takes this long to master food, when are you going to start? This week or never? Most people kill themselves with food. If you desire to be healthy, happy, and immortal, you must master food. You must start somewhere. Victory over food is a basic path to the ultimate victory. Try the following simple diets one at a time. First, master the 1 day liquid fast, juice, then water only. Then go to 3 days. When you experience being totally normal and full of energy on the middle day, you will be tasting heaven on earth. Eat every other day instead of every day and see if it teaches you about the meaning of food. Eat only fruit every other week for a month or two. Eat only fruit every other week for a month. Have only milk for a week or a month. No. No. I'll have macadamia nut milk, but I feel like the contents within the macadamia nut milk causes it to not be the same because of the guar gum or whatever. Uh, whoa, sneaky. Be a vegetarian for 30 days. Done. Uh, scores Scores of books have been written about the benefits of vegetarianism and ill effects of a meat-centered diet. I do not need to elaborate here, though I encourage you to learn as much as possible about this critical subject. Eating meat destroys the digestive and circulatory system and pollutes cells. Medical science reveals that eating meat sooner or later kills the body. This is elementary. Furthermore, if the body is the living temple of God, as the Bible says it is, then eating animals is even more barbaric than sacrificing animals on a fire to God. I learned so much about the divine healing abilities of the body through cancer. People who survive it should be given a special degree. It may be more valuable than an MD degree. Well, Vision Quest. Transfiguration and reincarnation are common themes in Native American culture. Many of these cultures have the tradition of vision quest, in which people are introduced. It's getting good. I don't care. I'm going to keep going at it. I might get down to a spirituality in your automobile. Whoa, we might just freaking finish. I'm probably gonna finish the chapter. It's enticing. Many of these cultures have a tradition of vision quests in which people are introduced not just to philosophy, but to a real experience of re resurrection and transfiguration. In the classical Native American vision quest tradition, a young adult leaves the tribe and walks into nature alone. This person goes without food or water and perhaps sleep until the vision occurs. The vision is not a hallucination, but uh, an actual re, an actual resurrection or materialization of a wise person. This wise person offers guidance for the quester's life. Many young people fail their vision quest, and many who pass don't do it again. But with some, it is a way of life. Meeting with these resurrected wise people is something that can be done more than once. I believe that everyone can have a vision quest annually or even monthly or daily. Some children actually live with a higher spiritual family that they can see, touch, and talk with just like their physical family. It is possible for adults also. We must resur dude, get we must we must re resurrect. We must resurrect this ability. Spiritual purification or ugh, Alterness. Is it still saved?
Austerity.
Austeritas has always been the chief method to reach God and to bring God to earth. Sometimes the Eternal Father materializes a body himself. In American Indian tradition, it is usually a Native American spiritual master. The term American Indian is considered to be a mistake on the part of Columbus, but I don't think but I don't think so. Native American cultures and religions are typically Indian, based on earth, air, water, fire, and chanting. The vision quest is similar to the East Indian tradition of sending young people to caves for meditation. There is one tradition of putting spiritual students in a cave for 11 months, totally dependent upon their guru for food. During this time, they are taught telepathically. They are taught telepathically. There is no verbal communication. The vision quest is a temporary state of sadhu lifestyle. It raises self esteem. It teaches respect for nature and appreciation of civilization. It infinitely improves. Why? Come on, bro. It infinitely improves mental and physical health. It takes people. It makes people strong and more balanced. The vision quest involves all the methods of spiritual purification with mind, earth, air, water, and fire. Is a very holistic and powerful healing method. I established a gentle vision quest program that is supervised responsibly. The minimum vision request, the minimum vision quest is one full day and 2 nights. The participant fasts on water only, bathes twice per day in a hot springs, or code system, maintains a fire consistently, and is visited once per day by the Vision Quest supervisor. Ideally, it is open ended so that the participant can stay longer in the forest if he or she desires. Usually, the minimum is enough for the first time. Some people like to do the minimum vision quest annually for a few years. Some participants are in a hurry. They try to achieve total liberation all at once and will likely hurt themselves without a vision quest supervisor. I've seen people get a taste of spiritual liberation and try to stay no longer than they should and endanger their. Oh, I've seen people get a taste of spiritual liberation and try to stay no longer than they should and endanger their mental and physical health. You cannot achieve total spiritual liberation in one vision quest. It is not good to push yourself too repeatedly. The vision quest is not a compulsive behavior. It must be developed gradually and in an enlightened way. On the other hand, I found that God is easy to please. He gives visions without great austerity,
Austerity.
austerities for most people. Most vision questers have very beautiful and rich experiences. The vision quest is among the highest kinds of education. I believe that the Vision Quest program should be implemented in every national park. It has a total positive environmental impact. It puts the very best kind of people, kind of human consciousness in the forest. It cleans the forest floor and prevents forest fires. It creates people who fall in love with the forest and become protectors of it. It cures the ills of civilization. It heals people. There should be volunteer wardens of every forest, divine stewards. Every forest should have a fire temple that is available to the people for fire protection, purification. Fire temples are good for human ecology as well as our national natural resources. Jeez. If we had fire temples also in city parks, it would be possible to do vision quests in the city. People who live in the city can easily go to the mountains or deserts on the weekend and quickly rejuvenate themselves. It is an ideal practice for professionals to prevent or to cure burnout. When done regularly, it can dissolve the stresses of successful living and renew creativity and energy. There is a Saxos tradition of doing an annual fire ceremony for 3 days with fasting, singing, and dancing. These kinds of traditions can accelerate the realization of physical immortality. The Hopi Nation is the spiritual capital of the North American continent. I try to do an annual pilgrimage to Hopi land. My personal practice is to sleep on the land for 3 nights. I usually experience a total renewal during these 3 days in Hopi land. Even if I sleep in the cultural center motel and watch TV, the energy of the Hopi land is so pervasive that nothing can keep you from getting the benefits. The basics of immortal yoga, bah, the basics of immortal yoga exist in Native American cultures. Even conventional scholars admit that Hopi Nation and culture have been stable for at least 80,000 years. Will the United States nation last this long? Will even the Christian religion last this long? Ram, Sita, Hanuman are still popular after 100,000 years. Will Jesus Christ and Moses be this popular after 100,000 years? Dude, there's like a little bug who's like pushing his luck. Freaking Daredevil. I'm kind of getting winded, but we're literally on the last page, so I'm gonna power through. Spirituality in your automobile. When we are driving, try to remember the automobiles are meditation machines. Oh my god, I do this so much. They require a high degree of intelligence and courage. Never before in history have people faced the opportunity to come inches away from death many times per day as they do routinely when driving down the highway. Automobiles are one of God's favorite vehicles of spiritual purification for the present generation. Cars often trap people alone and force them to meditate. If the drivers don't think deeply enough to solve their emotional problems while driving, their cars break down or have accidents. And the fact is, there are no accidents, only emotional problems for a coming only emotional problems looking for a place to happen. Wow. Automobiles allow people with highly developed death urge to kill themselves without creating wars. Wow. Private ownership of automobiles and public commercial airlines has probably done more to prevent World War III than or all the Orthodox Christian churches and expensive modern universities put together. Jeez, that was a mouthful. Wow, because we create our reality, we the problems are looking for a way to wake you up. This reminds me of a great, amazing movie. I cry on it every time I watch it. It's called Ink, and the whole premise starts off with a guy who gets into a car accident, and it's a little bit more on the astral projection, multidimensional side of things, and how time works differently in different dimensions and stuff. Incredible, but it's that kind of stuff where it's like, try not to make a spoiler here. Um, he gets into a car accident on purpose. His energy created the car accident in order to wake him up. Order to what's the way to say it without spoiling it? In order to get him to realize where he is emotionally, you know. And I honestly believe that's an actual thing. I've gotten into two two car accidents, and both were involving people who were, or me as well, just in a state of mind that was not the healthiest, and very much needing to slow down. So when I see, I mean, it's a kind of a blanket statement, so it's not really true. But typically, what I perceive is like when someone's getting into a car accident and they don't actually kill themselves, they're just like get into a car accident. It's their universe saying to them that they are moving fast and it's time to slow down. It's time to put the brakes on. It's time to look around to see what's important in your life. And I've done that. I've known that before, not before my first car accident, but since then, and I feel like it's helped a lot. I don't know if that's true. Hey, you tell me. I'm just a person over here doing my thing over here in this part of the world. If you've gotten into a car accident, where were you emotionally, energetically? Like, did you feel like you were, did it bring awareness to how much is going on in your life? Did it bring a new set of eyes, a new perspective to the important things in your life? And if they didn't, why not? Why not? It's a great time to reflect. Um, maybe you did not think to reflect on it, and if you were to think back on it right now, what would happen? What would you see? What would you think would be the reason there? Um, I know for me, uh, yeah, it's always been a bit of a trying to do a lot, spreading myself thin, and even like coming close to accidents. It's just kind of like, okay, where do I need to shave my attention off because I'm clearly doing too much right now. So yeah, another thing I wanted to note before jumping off here is the fasting thing. I don't remember what I wanted to note, so I'm just gonna jump off here now. Sarah said something about diet and fasting, and yawn. Wow, we're doing through so much of this book. I'm so proud of us. Spiritual automobiles. I don't know. It's like so late. I gotta readjust my sleep schedule thing. I'm going to go over there. I'm gonna go over there and sleep. Welcome to join, but bye.